Hey everyone, it's your girl Chris, and welcome to Between the Wickets, a conversation series where I step onto the pitch to explore the lives and stories of the professional players who live and breathe the game. Let's welcome today's guest, Kristopher Ramsaran. Hi, Christopher,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Of course, thanks for being here. Well, let's start with your journey. You were born and bred in Trinidad, and now you're based in San Francisco. What did cricket look like for you growing up in Trinidad, and when did you realize that it could become something more serious?
So, cricket per se, growing up in Trinidad, from my knowledge, I didn't know much about it, but it stemmed from my dad.
Mm,
So it started then. Um, Growing up, it was tough. It was like a hard journey, but they say, good things happen to people that work hard, right? So, I started there in Trinidad. I went to a lot of coaching schools, academies, so on. Then I was looked after by someone from Krystal Sports Club. That's when I was, a youth growing up. And it started there basically, and then I kept pushing on there, and there were people that saw something in me there. Of course, my father saw something that, I mean, nobody saw besides him. So it started from him, and then when I went to Presal, at that time I was young. There were the likes of Ian Bishop, Dinesh Ramdin, Rampal, Dinesh Ramdin, Ravi Rampal. They were young at that time. They were like 19 years old. I was probably like 12, 13, somewhere
wow.
around there. Yeah, and so it started there, and then from there, everything just basically took off. Um, so yeah, and then moving to the US, um, what inspired me to move to the US? I would say I saw growth.
Mm.
I saw growth in US cricket, and obviously it's America, and anything, I, anything USA gets their hands on, they try to make it their own. So I saw a lot of growth in cricket in USA. So that's what basically inspired my move.
Isn't it interesting, though, that growing up, sometimes you don't realize the potential that you have and someone else sees it in you, like your father saw that
Yeah.
in you?
Yeah, and now that I get older, I understand, why he was pushing me and all these things. But he actually, from what stories that I've been told, that he actually saw potential in me from as young as 3 years old. And that's when it basically started, that's when he started pushing me, and um things that I could remember when I was young growing up home in my front yard. He would throw balls at me countless times, wee hours of the night. My neighbors would hear him shouting at me, telling me I'm doing something wrong,
Yeah.
these things. But now seeing, like looking back, I realized that, all these times he was pushing me and I wanted to stop on all these things, it was just him being a parent and seeing good in his child.
Yeah, which is fair enough. And you're talking about your shift to the US. I mean, you've seen growth in West Indies cricket. Did you find that you can no longer grow in that space? That's why you shifted to the US?
Yeah, I found it so excuse me. So people may not see it this way, but Trinidad or the Caribbean is a small place, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough when there's a lot of talent in the Caribbean. It's tough to actually grow there. Not much actually make it out.
Mhm.
to a certain level. And that's the truth because there's so much talent. And yes, I had good stints in my career, but I just thought it was time to move on and not hold on to something that I can no longer grow. So I I made the bold move to actually come across here because I just thought that there was no more growth for me.
Yeah,
Because I tend it in the Caribbean, um, in West Indies cricket, they tend to write you off at probably age 30, right? And that's when
yeah,
actually now start to grow as a cricketer. And I found myself not getting opportunities. I mean, it might be harsh to say, but it's the truth. I found myself not getting opportunities, so I had to make that decision. Where do I see myself in the future, and what do I want for myself? So I thought that coming across here was the right and bold move because cricket is still young here, it's still growing, and there's still a lot to grow in USA cricket.
yeah, I agree. And I think it takes a lot of courage to talk about that, the reality of the lack of growth within West Indies cricket. And like you said, it was a bold move for you to take. And I'm sure it's paying off with all the tournaments that you're participating in.
Yeah, yeah. I think it sort of revamped my career in a sense where um yes, people knew me from the Caribbean, from Caribbean cricket and whatever, but um it sort of drove hunger into me where I wanted more for myself. So um that that in a sense made me, want to do more with my life in
Yeah,
terms of having a career in cricket and elsewhere and
yeah.
elsewhere.
And I feel like sometimes it just takes one chapter to close for another one to open. So yeah, that's incredible. Speaking of West Indies cricket, you came through the West Indies domestic system, playing for teams like the combined campuses and colleges. And then you also played for the St. Lucia Zouks during the Caribbean Premier League season in 2016.
Yeah.
What did those environments teach you about competition and professionalism early on?
Or that actually helped me a lot. But before I get into it, so funny enough, how I actually started playing for combined campuses and colleges, there was this coach at the time who used to play for Krystal Sports Club by the name of Ryan Austin. And he actually saw me there. And after, a few club games and whatever, he was like, you are basically talent that is wasting. And he went across, spoke to the head of the academies there and so on, and which was Floyd Reefer. He was the guy that is in charge.
Yeah.
And then I went to trials on CCC, and on my first year of trials, I got picked for CCC. That's when there was Caribbean T20 at that time. There was not even CPL. CPL was nowhere around. And, big kudos to him for doing that. And he was the one that basically started my career, I should say. And then moving there, I learned a lot because I had to move across to Barbados where I was offered a scholarship to
Oh, wow.
study at UWI and play cricket for combined campuses. So that basically teach me a lot where, how the life of a professional has to be, where you would get up in the morning, you would train all day, then you had to balance training all day with schoolwork as well. So it was tough at the beginning, but as I got into it, it helped me a lot. And also the reason now I got picked for CPL was so at that time. Barbados was the hub of West Indies cricket at that time. So all the training camps were there, all the everything was there, all the practice games, practice matches, and everything. And at that time, the assistant coach of West Indies cricket was Stuart Williams. Head coach was Phil Simmons, I believe, at that time, and Otis Gibson as well. And Stuart Williams was the one that actually saw me. He was the head coach of Saint Lucia that time, and they used to always invite me for like camps and so on when West Indies was having there. And I remember one practice game I played with West Indies, and on that game I actually got 3 wickets for like 40 something runs. And after that, he was the one that said, you know what, um, I'm gonna try to get you into St. Lucia because you're a talent that is just wasting. And
Yeah.
kudos to him for that. And that's how I actually got picked because I was actually a replacement. I was actually a replacement for a few games,
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, for a few games because I believe Denesh Ramdin, which is also my very close best friend,
Yeah.
he was supposed to join the team at that time. And then I was supposed to replace him. But unfortunately, there was a leg spinner on the team that had to do surgery and he was injured. And that's when I was actually brought into the team and I actually played the full season. Well, not played the full season, but was with the team for the full season.
Wow.
So that actually stemmed my career a lot and it actually helped me where now I knew how to, act as a professional, how to go about things, how to train hard, when you're in a downtime, what to do, these things. So that actually was the start of everything, and that helped me into who I am now.
Yeah, which is incredible. I mean, and it's cool to know that you're also really close friends with Denesh Ramdin. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I grew
So,
up watching him,
so,
so
so funny enough, he and I were never really close, but
mm,
at, I think at 18 years old, when my career was now about to start, my dad, he passed away. So now, after that, he and I started getting close, and I didn't really wanted to play cricket and so on.
yeah,
After that, because I was like, what's the sense, What's the sense I'm going to play again when the person who actually started me in it not around? So
yeah,
what am I doing it for? And then he was like, no, you can't do this. I have a bright future. And he was the one that actually started guiding me along the way. And it actually helped me where I started taking it serious again.
yeah. Sometimes you just need that extra push from
Yeah.
someone, especially someone who supports you and you've built a strong relationship with. Um, Speaking of, the foundation that you built in Trinidad, you have now built a strong presence in American cricket through your participation in various tournaments like minor league cricket, where you played for a few teams, including the East Bay Blazers,
Mhm.
and Major League Cricket, where you traveled with the Seattle Orcas for season 3 last year.
Yeah.
How did that transition from West Indies and their domestic system challenge or reshape you as a cricketer and person? And then what has that overall journey taught you about patience, adaptability, and just staying grounded?
So, um, it actually taught me a lot where there's things that you could control and there's things you can't control. There's A factors and B factors. So now, as I got older, I told myself I can only control what I could control. The rest would take care of itself. And coming across here, playing minor league, I think it was a good thing for me because people expect people expected you to do well, and coming across here, people expected you to do well, knowing that you have this stature back in the Caribbean or.
Right.
So people would see it as pressure, but I never saw it as pressure. I actually saw it as something to like a driving force basically. So I told myself, you know what, every game that I go there, I can't take it as a as a joke or whatever. I have to play as if it's my last game.
Mm.
And that um that basically helped me a lot where I started thinking more mature, I started acting more mature when it comes to my career. And there there I actually pushed myself the limits that I never pushed before. And I think that was the main driving force, well, driving factor in me. And traveling with Seattle was again something that words can't describe because I was actually dying for that feeling again after because after playing CPL, I never really had anything after. I
Yeah,
used
I didn't
yeah.
see you in CPL after, so that's why,
So I had one season and that was it.
yeah,
I mean that's things that I can't control.
right.
God alone knows why, you know. Um, but I knew there were people that was looking out for me afterwards, seeing that at that point in time I was probably the only left-arm spinner around. And I just faded away. And how I knew that people was actually looking out for me was, I think during COVID, they used
Hmm.
to replay CPL matches on CPL page as a live video, and they would have live commentators. And one of the commentators was like, where is he now? This is an art that, not much people can do. And where is he now? Like, and they were reaching out and trying to find out where I was and, if I gave up on it. But truth is, I never gave up on it. It was just lack of opportunities, and I went to practice during Major League last year. And again, the guys from Seattle Orcas, which is um, Delhi Capitals,
Right.
they are part owners. So there were, again, people that had high stature was there. And I went there a few practice sessions and then they saw me and then I got an email saying, they want me to travel with the team for the entire season. So that day I was super grateful for because I was literally dying for that feeling again,
Yeah.
where you could feel like you're wanted again. And that day was something, good. And I really like it. That day was special for me, knowing that after all these years, you could still open the eyes of people, and that was good. And minor league, yeah, minor league is also a good tournament. I'm grateful for the people who actually pick me year by year in minor league, and I think all of these things actually shape me and help me as a person now, and now I try to stay as grounded as possible, as humble as possible. I mean, young me back then, I saw some sort of limelight, and
Mm.
obviously, if you're in the limelight, things would go wrong. You would try to, you won't be as humble as you was or you used to be. But
Right.
like as I grew older, I knew the more grounded you stay, is the more opportunities would come and you'd better yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of also being human is that, yes, you're young, you get that opportunity to shine and it goes to your head. But as you grow older, you find yourself in this need to stay grounded and
Yeah.
the hunger to have those opportunities because sometimes you do question whether or not you belong in the industry that you're in. And
Yeah.
being a part of minor league, that's the foundation for major league. And so getting to have those opportunities must be extremely exciting. And,
Yeah.
it drives you to want to do more and to be a better version of yourself always.
Yeah, correct.
Um, Alongside playing professionally, you also coached and mentored at the Blazers Cricket Academy. How has coaching influenced the way you understand your own game? And what are some philosophies and habits that you convey to your students as a leader?
Okay, so first, I was introduced to Blazers. So before I actually coached with Blazers Cricket Academy, obviously I played with Blazers, right?
Right.
And next, like another good close friend of mine, which is Angelo Perera, ex Sri Lankan player.
Yeah.
Uh, he and I are pretty close. We bond here a lot, because he lives in San Francisco as well. He was the one that put the owner of Blazers cricket minor league team onto me, and playing with them, obviously the owner saw potential in me, and after the first season, he was like, what's my plan? What's my plan going forward? That, he has an academy. If I want to join and basically be a leader in the academy and help out in terms of being a spin bowling coach and so on. So again, shout out to Bijou for that. He was the one that actually brought me here, and now so Blazers is a really big academy. There's like, let's say 400, 500 plus kids.
Wow.
So it's really big. But the thing is, we have branches in
Mm.
different cities. So basically, I lead, mentor, direct one of the branches. So that there in itself is a big accomplishment, right? So um there it actually teaching kids and helping kids along the way actually helped me to grow. Helped me to know, like, you need to be patient. You need to stay patient with kids. You need to stay patient with yourself, you know, um, and some habits that I try to relay to my kids while coaching or while mentoring is that Rome wasn't built in one day. So it means that you your career is not going to be built in one day.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's a process, it's a journey. So the more you concentrate on trying to improve one step at a time, that's when you would actually see growth in yourself. So I tend to tell my kids, when you come to practice or come to coaching, find one thing out of the entire session that you learn today and take that one thing and add it to the next session. And from the time you know it, from you learn 10 things and it will just keep growing and growing and growing. And now having been here for a while now, you tend to see the kids actually grow. They are not focused on actually doing well all the time. They are more focused on the mental side of the game, where
Yeah.
I think that's actually the biggest part of the game. Because if your mental is not right, then nothing could go right. So I tend to tell them, don't overthink situations, don't overthink batting, don't overthink bowling, just have fun. You're still young, you're still growing. And I actually take that into my own game when I actually play as well, where I tell myself, don't think about doing well. Just go there and express yourself. And I think that would take care of everything.
Yeah. And I think one thing, I mean, you said so many important things, but one thing that just really sticks out is patience, um, and growth as well.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to have patience with yourself and you can see what you bring to the table, and how that gets relayed to the students and your mentees. You did that, and you're basically shaping the future, which is exciting.
Yeah, and I'm actually grateful for, a lot of parents because um there's actually two kids that I helped mentor in some way or the other that actually just played in USA on the 19 World Cup,
What?
right? And then so most of my kids now, they are actually playing for like U15 kids. They have played for the state, which is like the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So so in the academy, I'm actually the fun coach because I tend to take that happiness, that good
Yeah.
energy and give it to them where, when I go to a game or coaching sessions, I make sure and have fun with them. So they can know it's not always about being serious. Sometimes you need to just, relax
Mm.
and just have fun, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah. And I can tell you, as a former educator, you would be so surprised the impact that you have, on your students now, and then 5 to 10 years from now when they're reaching out to you,
Yeah.
still, talking about that one moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very inspiring. After playing across so many leagues and environments, what still motivates you to keep competing and growing? And was there ever a moment where you questioned that you belonged personally and professionally?
Um, what what still motivates me is knowing that I never had a fair opportunity, and I still want to show that I'm here,
Yeah,
and I think that that's my main driving factor, knowing that I've seen, like, I could say it, I have no malice to say it or anything, but I've seen people with less talent, reach further places than me, and I know that could have been me
yeah,
if I gotten the fair opportunities. So that is probably my biggest motivation, knowing that I'm still not done yet, you know? I I'm actually not done. I still have a lot. I think this is my peak time where I actually know myself the best. I know I have the most knowledge about the game, and I know exactly what to do. Whereas when I was younger, I didn't know. I used to overthink things, and I think now is some may see it as old, but for
no,
example, Imran Tahir, he's 47 years old, right? And he still plays every single league in this world.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
shows that the more you grow older, is the more is the more mature you become. So I still would believe that I belong and that I belong in this circuit. Again, certain things gave me the reason to believe that I should be here. For example, traveling with Seattle, that
right.
in itself told me that, you're still good. You're still good enough, and yeah, so I actually think that I still belong here.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. You're here to stay. Um, and I think it's interesting, you don't come I don't gather you as a person that comes with malice, about that point, but it must be so frustrating in the moment when you realize that someone else is getting opportunities despite their lack of skill set, and you know that you could be that person. But like you said before, that there are so many things that are out of your control, and you kind of just have to go with the flow at points. But those opportunities will come back to you in tenfold. Um, and you'll continue to stay relevant and stay in the game.
Yeah, and
Um,
I believe, whatever is written for you, it is for you, and nobody can
yeah,
stop that. It could be 10 years from now.
yeah,
Whenever that time is, it will come and it will happen. So I think it's just about staying patient and just keep believing that you are here for a reason. And I think everything should work out
Yeah,
as it should.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have purpose. And as different chapters close, new ones open and you continue to take that purpose forward. Um, yeah, one thing that I want to touch on though, did you feel like you questioned where you belonged, especially growing up in Trinidad, then coming to the US? Did you feel like you had an identity crisis on and off the field?
Um, at one time I felt like I belong. Then there was another time that I felt like I it was just I was like I didn't belong at the same time. So
Yeah, like
it was
existing
mixed.
without existing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mixed emotions
Mm,
because like I said, I could go back 2016.
yeah.
After 2016, I had nothing. Like I was never even looked upon, right?
Wow.
And luckily I got opportunities, like I said, to come to the US to play tournaments. And I just found myself saying, this is the next door. Give it your all and see where it leads from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did feel like I belonged there, and then at the same time, I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah. Um, to bigger and better things, more opportunities. In time, you will get there. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. All right, Christopher, we'll switch gears now to a quick fire round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, no pressure. Wickets or economy, what secretly feels better?
So um some people might beg to differ for this, but me, I'm an economy person. So to
Okay,
me, I feel better having a very low economy and not getting much wickets rather than getting wickets and having a high economy. So I'll choose economy over wickets.
okay. Go to cheat meal after a long tournament.
So I have a lot, but two things I'd say that stand out and I really love is anything fried.
Okay.
And also I'd say red bean rice, callaloo, and stew chicken with probably
Okay.
macaroni pie.
Navin Badaisi said the same thing, stew chicken
It,
and
it,
macaroni pie.
it's
It's a
it's
very
a it's a
Trini thing.
Trinidad, yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's a Trinidad.
Would you rather forget your headphones or your charger?
My charger.
Mm. Window seat or aisle seat?
I'll sit because I'm tall, so
Oh,
I need that leg space. So
gotcha. One word that describes your current chapter.
unfinished.
That is the word. Well, that wraps our quick fire round. But before I let you go, if you could tell your younger self one thing, right here, right now, what would you tell him?
Don't make the same mistakes that I made when I was younger.
Hmm, that's
I
powerful.
mean, yeah, so when I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I think that is something that I learned from, and I think I don't want to go back to that part of my life. It's already
Yeah,
closed. So those mistakes that I made, I don't want to actually make it again. So that's one part of my life that is closed, and obviously a new one is here now. So um I have to strive on that and just keep growing.
yeah. And making mistakes makes you human. That's why you are the version that you are of yourself today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. Well, Christopher, thanks so much for joining me today on Between the Wickets. And to our audiences, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Until next time, I'm Krystal Ramroop. See you on the pitch.